because then you have to wait on shipping, and then eventually the product gets to you and you have it and you're good to go. But so I just kind of do a little bit of everything. Sometimes I do vloggy videos. Sometimes that's the spirit. Yeah. Hey, we're recording.
Hello. Welcome to this session of The Keep. Thank you for joining us on our adventure today. It is going to be a day. Before we jump into the game with our epic band of adventurers here, let's go ahead and get to our announcements. So, as always, we start off with Take This. They're an awesome nonprofit organization dedicated to decreasing the stigma of mental health issues in the gaming community. They do some really awesome work, and you should totally check them out and support them if you can. Speaking of things you should check out, you should also check out our social media. We are The Keep RPG across forums. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And we have our podcast episode of Keep Lounging now available on SoundCloud. So definitely give that a look-see. Speaking of things found on YouTube, Garrett and Jay... Every time, and I love it. Y'all both have YouTube channels. Garrett, you wanna give a brief description of Night Shift Night?
Oh, sure. So on Night Shift Night, I go on there and I make videos of all kinds of crazy stuff. So right now, what am I working on? I'm working on my clone trooper armor that I'm making out of foam. I was just recording footage yesterday. It was very fun. I ran out of glue, so I had to go over and go get some from the store. That was dookie, but I had a fun time, and it was great. And I also sometimes do toy reviews, and I'm stalling. There it is. And ow. Sometimes it gets crazy because then you have to wait on shipping, and then eventually the product gets to you, and you have it, and you're good to go. So I just kind of do a little bit of everything. Sometimes I do vloggy videos. Sometimes I do toy reviews. Sometimes I do whatever. I don't know. I make it up as I go.
Very cool. 39 seconds, by the way,
yes!
From when I started counting. So probably like 45 seconds in total. Impressive. Very impressive.
Not to argue with our DM, not to argue with the rules of D&D. I was actually thinking about, like, wouldn't it be fun to... like set up a recording and time lapse it, but have a clock there and like actually like how long does it take to do stuff? Mm-hmm. This is actual steel, by the way, and I'm gonna go ahead and wear it because it's already there.
Cool.
Actually, no, because he's mad at it. He threw it away. So never mind. And I don't have the padding, so it's uncomfortable.
Oof, yeah, no.
Well, anyway, Jay, what are you on about, sir?
Hope he's about to turn on his camera.
Yes! For the moment. Yeah, so Pandaverse, Twitch, YouTube, / the Pandaverse, do gameplay of Magic the Gathering at from noon to 1 Monday through Friday. Friday nights we do beta testing, early release, stuff of that nature. And Saturdays we're actually in Call of Duty tournaments because they pay money to if you win points and stuff. And yeah, Jay likes making money. So right now I'm number 12 in one tournament and number 36 out of 1,200 in another. I also, half of those people that signed up have, because you have to play X amount of games before they register your scores. So half of those people haven't played games. So I'm sure I'm going to drop fast.
Yes, but that's the part you don't tell people yet.
Yeah, it's fine. People don't come to watch me win. They come to watch me run around and scream because I'm being chased by a bunch of people.
I do want to get in on one of your videos where you play a horror game. I want to participate one day, someday.
I've had enough being scared and crying and yeah. No, I know,
but I want to be a bad friend and poke the bear and make it worse.
Fair enough. But yeah, so twitch.tv/the Pandaverse. You can come watch me live, then catch my VODs on YouTube. And that's it. That's all I got.
Cool. Do we have any other announcements, or shall we go ahead and jump into the game?
Yeah,
Just one. It's gonna get emotional tonight.
Oh,
I can feel emotions in the air tonight.
Get Lauren started.
okay. When last we left our heroes, following a long day of rescuing the Oracle of Bahamut and separating in an attempt to address several intersecting issues, the 11th Hour mostly reunited at Gertie's. Already dealing with the revelation of an Archlich and a cursed sword, a summoning bell alerted the group to a ship arriving at the harbor. Discussion began on how to address this vessel bearing a blue 5-pointed star on a white field when Solyx arrived. Seeing an opportunity to hopefully address his situation, Val requested Halberd guard the sword while Solyx attended with the cleric in the other room. He revealed that he hoped that his death would end the puppet master's curse, and Val requested Solyx immediately revive him if the death seemed effective and permanent, but warned that the puppet master may rise instead. Learning of the plan as Val's final spell to take his own life, Toll the Dead, rung out through the room, the group was split on this decision, and the puppet master regained control of Val's body. Welcome. A quick and ruthless fight found the party successful in defeating the puppet master's avatar, but not before the city guard was alerted to the noise inside Gertie Gadsworth's gamut of goods, the shop where the group had reconvened. Using his position as Arbiter of Bahamut, Solyx provided cover for his friends to escape by bearing Val's mutilated body through the public as a heretic. In death, Val found himself in a fairly familiar place, caught between his family's legacy and his own path that he had forged. And in the end, he chose once and for all to follow his goddess Sayanine into the afterlife. We are going to go ahead and pick up with Solyx.
I knew it. I've been sitting here all day going through that. Start with me.
Starting with you, you are bearing Val's body through the streets, and as you're making your way through the Bull's Head Plaza in particular, and the neighborhoods immediately surrounding it, I want you to make a perception check.
Okay. Well, 19.
19. Okay. So we had already established that there had been some busybodies, some look-sees who had come out attracted by the noise, and you had been carrying this body, proclaiming it a heretic that you had dealt with, as was your duty and right as Arbiter. As you're making your way out of the plaza itself and into the neighborhoods and the surrounding streets, you're hearing murmurs. People are coming out, seeing what you have done, hearing your announcement, and staying out of your path. But you're hearing a little bit, overhearing some of their talking to each other. And the gist of what you're hearing is, wait, isn't that the one who healed Gertie? The healer, yeah, a miracle. But a heretic? No, it's true. The church is truly just in what they must have done. She must have been harboring witches. She must have... And you're hearing this sort of extrapolation on what had occurred and the evil nature of not just this supposed miracle healer and speculating on where he may have gotten the source of his evil powers, but also hearing words against Gertie and favoring the judgment of the church and having chosen the right course of action. As you're making your way through the streets, where are you ultimately heading?
I'm going to try to find, I don't know, wherever, like, the crematorium is.
Okay. Let me pull out my map here.
So that's where Going to the place where we get rid of bodies.
Okay. So you know that right now you are in the River District, right? And you can head west towards the Heritage District, which houses the entrance to the catacombs. And there are several temples there that do provide funerary services, both entombing and cremating, in order to satisfy that. You know it's going to be a solid, 45-minute walk if you're heading to the ones that you are most familiar with.
I don't know of any that are closer.
I mean, there are other significant fires that are closer. You know, there are several smiths that work here in the River District, forging mostly sort of sacred goods, holy symbols, and things of that nature. You can head north into the Bastion Ward to find a number of smiths that deal larger forges that would deal with armor and forging actual weapons. But for the actual, and there are other temples and churches and shrines that will have sort of areas set up for memorial services or funeral services or small sort of prayer chapels to commemorate the dead. But for actual disposal services, most of those temples are to the west in the Heritage District.
Okay, I guess I'll start headed that way. That is fairly close to where the temple is. It's just a little bit south of the temple.
Yeah, a little bit south of the Dragon's Heart. And keep in mind, Dragon's Heart is not just a temple. It does house the sacred grounds, the holiest places in the city.
Right.
But it's a whole district, and there are a number of other buildings that are in there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna head my way there, and then I'm going to grab my sending stone to Aura, and I will say, or whenever you have finished at the docks, please have Xantir wait for me at my room.
As you will, my Lord Arbiter. I will see it is done.
Yeah, and I'll just work my way towards the Heritage District.
Okay.
If at any point I can commandeer a horse, that would be nice.
Oh, yeah. No, there are several on the street. There are cart horses. There are a couple of big drafty horses meant for hauling goods, and there are a couple smaller ponies for street cleaners and carrying smaller carts and stuff. There are a couple of riding horses that some of the more wealthy gentry will ride through the streets here. You can take your pick, essentially.
I'm just going to go up to one of the draft horses. It doesn't have to be anything special, but I will give whoever's around, I don't know, whose horse is this?
An older human man, dark hair starting to gray, sort of grizzled in his beard. He steps forward. My Lord Orbiter, it'd be a pleasure to serve you in whatever way you require.
Perfect. Here's 50 gold. The church has need of your horse.
Absolutely, my lord. Of course. We are pleased to serve.
I need to cover this. Do you have a blanket?
I got a rug. Will that work?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, then I'm at your service, my lord.
Thank you. I will put Val on the horse and sort of cover him with the rug, and then I'll ride to the Heritage District, so I'm not carrying him.
Okay. So that does shorten the time pretty considerably. It'll cut probably a third of that off. So within 30 minutes, you can find one of the temples that specialize in funerary services.
Perfect. This individual needs to be disposed of immediately. He should be burned so that the evil that resided within him can never come back.
Of course, my lord. And would you wish a ritual cleansing performed to bar any evil spirits from manifesting?
Yes.
Wonderful. Do you yourself wish to bless the holy water which the ritual would consume? It would be an honor
Actually,
for us to serve you in this way.
I reach into the bag of holding and pull out the vial of holy water.
Okay.
Why are you taking care of this? And I will hand that to her and whoever it is, them.
Make a perception check.
4.
4. Okay. Yeah, no, they take the holy water and give a bow, and it's like, within the hour, my lord, it shall be complete.
Start it now.
As you will. And you see her very quickly sort of signal to some assistants. Go, prepare it. And they go off scurrying to prepare the room.
I'm going to stand around until it gets a good way into it to make sure that it's happening. And then I'll head back to the temple.
Okay.
Favorite place.
Where's your bath?
Splitting the party again.
Perfect place.
All right, so you do see fairly quickly, it seems like there is a brief ceremony that is performed with the holy water sprinkled over the body, and then it is carted into the actual furnace room, and they perform their duties. You start heading back towards the temple. We will pick up with you in a little bit here. What is everybody else doing?
We were headed into the catacombs, right? Isn't that where we were going? We were
That's
running
what y'all had said you were heading to do last session. So you're at least started on your way there. Gertie's Lord of leading you through back passages. Yes, Halberd.
I am making sure to gather Val's equipment, his armor, his possessions, his stuff.
Slikes, that's it all.
K-Store has
Or I mean, case starving.
Very
Yeah.
good. Just wanted to double check that because I forgot. I was making sure we didn't leave anything.
Yep.
I grabbed his bags and things. It would probably make more sense if we split some of the stuff. So I'm not, So we'll say I grabbed his bags and such, grabbed his armor and weapons, then that would be fine.
Yeah. We've probably just
I have a weapon.
got his stuff. We'll deal with it as we need later, I imagine.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of solemnly silent. I don't have many words to say. Just walk beside Doran, Casator, and
Since I had gotten the map and I'm used to tunnels and stuff, I would probably be silently leading-ish.
Okay. Right now, y'all are still moving through the city itself. Gertie is leading y'all towards you would guess, a tunnel entrance. And it doesn't take too long before she guides you to a place where you can get down into the sewers, and then from the sewers towards the catacombs.
I still haven't put that thing back on. I've got it in one hand and I'm just holding it.
Okay.
Lauren, what's the distance from the city street down to the bottom of the sewers?
It varies. Where y'all enter is probably about 25 feet.
Okay, so Raya's probably going to look down and then use a misty step to get down instead of climbing.
Okay. Good deal.
And just a little bit.
At that point, Rye is probably going to be second into the sewer itself. And very quickly after you bamf down, you hear a splash and a mild curse in Infernal, and Oust just jumped after you, just to make sure. So y'all get into the sewers. Doran, go ahead and make me a survival check. Yes, Howard.
And first roll, and I get to do it.
I am going to tell Doran, you wait for me just a moment, if you don't mind. I'll be down after a minute, literally. And I would like to go ahead and cast Primeval Awareness while we're still above ground.
Okay. using one of your ranger spell slots.
That was a natural 20.
Nice.
Started out good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here. Oh, shit.
Don't say that.
I'm a troublemaker.
What, are you going to kill somebody else in the party?
Oh, that's cold. Wait, did I get the kill on
No,
Val?
Albert did.
Puppet Val? I was very confused. I was like, wait, I thought you did that.
I did.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
I
Shit.
don't really care to have
Not
any more
blaming
fights
you.
with any more party members today.
Yeah, fair.
Today, tomorrow.
This whole conversation is not in character because there's no shitty Irish accent happening.
Yep.
Middle of fight the stereotypes.
I do that deliberately. I have every character planned out with crazy accents, so you know. Also, I get to pretend I'm an actor. Ooh.
Slowly became me.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right, Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
While you don't know their location or their number, you do get a sense that present within a mile of you is both a celestial presence and a dragon presence.
That's comforting.
Big
Oh
power.
yeah, I guess I need to cast Nixel's magic aura again.
I know we've talked about this a little bit with some
Didn't do that
other,
this morning.
like maybe other spells. I don't know with Primeval Awareness. Is Kasator's celestial heritage strong enough to make that ping? Do we know that or not?
So the way Lauren's played it, and Lauren, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, there is a faint twinge, but that's different from the actual presence of. Because she's made a couple comments like, you get this sense of like Kasator standing right next to you, and he's got celestial background, but no, you don't catch celestial creatures. So I'm guessing that that's kind of the same way. Same thing with Celiax. You catch a little bit of a dragon whiff, but you know it's not true dragon. So I'm guessing that's kind of the way this is being played out still.
It's like, yeah, essentially. It's sort of like like an elf will have fey ancestry, and someone who's very sensitive to the flow of that energy might pick up on that. Just like an SMR would have a celestial feeling vaguely, and a tiefling would have a fiendish feeling vaguely. Let me double check one thing regarding distances real quick. Within a mile. Okay, so yeah, you do also get a fiendish presence.
Oh, fantastic.
Wonderful. I'm waiting for the other shoe to just drop hard. Because it's going to be a hard drop.
I'm going to go ahead and crawl downstairs. Let's be on guard. Within a mile, there be dragons here. And fiends. So, and celestial. I don't know, Dragon Throne is a mess. We are very much worse for wear. I feel like we need a moment just to lick our wounds, if you'll allow the expression.
I just slowly start walking. Enough where they can see me and catch up.
What's in from here? What are we trying to accomplish?
I had hoped to have some conversation with Gertie to get a bit more information. I know, Halbert, you had mentioned previously you wanted to do something in regards to the boat coming in.
Yeah. Probably be for the best. Business first. House, do you still want to go tag a boat?
He sort of looks over at Rye.
What are you looking at me for? Go play, go have fun.
And he just silently sidesteps closer to Halberd.
I'm gonna start working my way back up and heading towards the harbor quietly, as deftly as possible.
As you start heading up, before Oust heads back up the stepladder that he just bypassed as he fell down in a mostly controlled descent. He just looks over at Rye. Be careful.
I'm always careful, darling.
Are you, though?
Still alive, aren't I? Don't answer that. Goodbye.
And he just gives this deep, heavy, put-upon sigh and reluctantly goes up the ladder.
It's like a puppy that you tell to go to bed and it doesn't want to. The image I'm getting. That is like a puppy, Garrett. Doesn't want to go to bed is what the image I get from Oust.
Oh, I can't hardly hear you, man.
I'm sorry!
Technology.
All right. So with Doran's natural 20, the 5 of y'all, four of y'all, Gertie, Rye, Kesator, and Doran. Am I missing anyone? Okay, the 4 of y'all make your way through the sewers. I want everybody to roll a stealth check for me real quick.
That is a 19.
Okay.
18.
Okay. What was that, Kesator?
17.
17. Okay.
Right in order.
And Gertie. Okay. Slowly, quietly, still feeling the weight of everything that has just happened sort of pressing on you, you make your way through the sewers without incident, emerging into the catacombs in a tunnel I don't believe y'all have emerged from before.
Would it behoove us to have the map open?
Not necessarily. I'm just double checking that I'm telling y'all correctly.
Okay.
Yes. This
Good Lord.
is...
Forgot what this thing looked like. Is there like any indicator on here I could look for that would say whereabouts we start from? Like, where's the entrance from the well?
The entrance that y'all are coming... The first entrance that y'all came through is the room labeled 3.
Odd.
It's the square room, bottom right-hand corner, the southeastern side. That's where y'all had been doing most of your traffic coming through. At this point, you are led, and you do come through the entrance a little bit north of that. On the map, it is labeled 123.
Good Lord. Okay, I see it.
So you emerge from the sewers into the catacombs at that particular point.
And this is just the catacombs. This is not involved. This doesn't actually have the sewers itself.
That doesn't actually have the sewers on it. That's just the catacombs.
Yeah, see, audience, look at this. She made an anthill.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
And there are definitely areas where you can see it's natural cave work that has sort of been expanded on, and there are parts that have been more refined than others to give it more regular shape and straight paths that are cut through, or rooms that have been sort of blocked out. And typically those are in the more developed side that function as sort of receptacles and funerary areas. The more raw, uncut is generally less explored, and especially in the deeper sections of that, that's where you have been finding more people actually living, hiding.
Okay. Neat.
So y'all are making your way through the catacombs. Is there anything y'all want to do in particular? Or shall we jump over to one of the others?
I mean, we're walking to the underground safe city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything anybody else wants to do? Because that's
I don't plan on having much discussion until we actually sit down with Soraya, Harker, and Gertie.
Yeah.
Want to have a conversation when we get somewhere, but walking in silence for now.
Same.
Okay. As you get closer, I want y'all to make an insight check.
Oh, good. Insight. Okay, that's. Let's see if I can roll a good one again. That is 16.
Okay.
Crushing.
Natural 20 for a total of 25.
Very nice.
Huzzah.
9.
9.
Yeah.
So Kazator, you don't see it at all. Doran, you get as you're leading the group, you realize Gertie is starting to sort of fall a little bit farther behind. Rye, you notice that Gertie is deliberately slowing her steps. Especially as y'all emerge from the sewers into the catacombs, she's panting a little bit. She's walking slower. She's taking her time. And you can tell it's a good act sort of that she's putting on of this aged woman, not used to this much exercise. And it's very natural looking. Very, very deliberate.
I will fall back and offer her my arm. And just lean over and say, yes, I can see that you are quite distressed and distraught with everything that's going on. I haven't seen as good a acting since I was last home and got to see a little bit of a play on a stage. When were you playing for the Royal Theatre here?
I should have known. You're too clever for me. No, I
doubt that's true.
This will be unpleasant news to bear, and I don't want to interrupt too quickly.
I don't think this is just our news, Gertie.
I know. But they were going to have such a lovely morning. Harker had flowers picked out, you know.
If it is true, the way that he picks flowers for her and brings her candy, as you were telling me earlier, it may not be a sweet morning, but he has placed himself in the right position at the moment for her to have comfort. And is that not a better thing than sweets or flowers, but to have someone you can lean on?
You're right, of course. But with so much darkness and such danger ahead. I want them to savor every bit of brightness they can find. It's true. You're right. It's better not to dally. As you say, it's not just our news. You can see she starts walking at a more reasonable pace. and slowing the group less.
Mariah's gonna lean just a little heavily on her and say, I'm okay if we take it a little bit slower.
A little bit. After all, your dwarf friend is leading. We'll make it easy for him. We won't rush. So, y'all make your way through the catacombs at a reasonable pace to the areas you are more familiar with. And Doran, at this point, Gertie shovels up through the groove and says, I believe we'll find a Sarai and Harker this way. And she leads you to a sort of side chamber that has been it has been lit with various candles. And as you are walking through, you are picking up very faint scents of flowers and sweetness, like honeysuckle almost, very gently wafting and filling the air. The chamber or the passage that you're walking through has a sort of curtain over it that is hung down, and as you approach the curtain, Gertie pulls it aside and says, I'm so sorry to interrupt, my dears. I'm afraid we have some news and some discussions that must be had. And as y'all enter into the room, you see a small table set up with 2 chairs. There is a bouquet of flowers in the middle and a small meal that has been prepared for Sarai and Harker.
Is it spaghetti? I'm trying very hard not to make dumb jokes and interrupt like I normally do, by the way. I want y'all to know that.
Well, that one was very well timed and very well placed, so good job.
All right.
That was a good one. That was a good
Trying
one.
to behave.
As a matter of fact, we'll say yes. It is some sort of pasta dish and a red sauce. Cheesy, you can see there is a small covered platter to the side. You can presume there's some sort of dessert or sweet in there for after the meal is complete. And as you enter the room, there's just this heaviness that falls over Sarai's face. Especially seeing, the limited number that there are. It's like, oh no. And you see her sort of steel herself and pick herself up and just, with a glance to Harker, who just nods his head, sort of pushes his chair out and says, perhaps somewhere we can all be more comfortable. And
If this is a relatively private space, I think it should be fine. There's no need to waste time on comforts right now.
very well. And y'all are brought into this small chamber, and it is fairly small. It is only about, make sure I'm telling you the correct dimensions.
Two foot by 2 foot?
No, not quite that small. I mean, there's 2 chairs, a table, a meal, and room to move around. So probably like 15 by 15 foot, 15 by 20, something like that.
As we come through this room, as we walk in, Sator's just like comes in and sees the setup there and is, oh good, food, and just walks over and uncovers whatever that dish is, and if it's something sweet, he just picks it up and takes it with him as we walk in the other room and just starts eating it. Doesn't even look like he's enjoying it.
Bro!
What?
Sator's a bro! Bro Sator!
No. I don't know where to go about this.
Okay. So as y'all are preparing to settle in for a discussion, bringing Sarai and Harker up to speed, Halberd,
Yeah.
what are you and Oust doing
quietly
Partying.
Yeah. Me and I are best buds now, ever, forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Boston Tea Party.
Okay. Just side note, just me. This is not in game. Just for sheer fun and slight sadistic enjoyment. Because he was going to come with me and I went up first. I really wanted to just surprise round knife him. But I didn't. Because I'm trying to be nice to Alice and that's trying to come across in character and all that crap. No, I'm kidding.
But you thought about it.
I did. Jonathan thought about it. Now, back to the game. I'm going to
Proud of you.
just be moving through the town towards the harbor. Not, I don't know, just semi-passively moving as deftly as possible, not drawing attention, but also not going out of my way to make conversation with anybody.
Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
20. That was
20?
modified, not natural.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. So yeah, very, very quietly, very stealthily, you and Oust both, without any conversation. Oust is just silent as he's trailing you. And there are actually a number of times where you almost lose track of where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
But then he'll dart out, and you can see where his movement is going. Just out of a flash of movement out of the corner of your eye. So you are confident he is remaining with you.
Good deal. Moving towards the harbor, if I can tell there are ships coming in, because I don't know what time has elapsed, how close the ships are.
At this point, the Earnest Awe, which is the ship with the blue star on the white field on their flag, is preparing to dock. You are seeing a lot of activity on board. You are seeing quite a hubbub on the dock side itself, preparing to bring the ship into harbor. And it is being brought in a little bit south of what you had sort of expected. It is going into the actual district of the city known as the docks, where the bay itself is a little bit deeper, where there's sort of a drop-off where these larger ships can have their mooring. So you get the sense that that's where it's going. So you've got a ways to travel through the city, and as you are coming down sort of from the higher elevated areas that are built up onto the mountain a little bit, coming down towards the bay, you're catching, you'll probably get there slightly after the ship itself docks at your current rate.
Is there a good vantage point I can move to overlooking the docks that will just allow me to see who comes on and off the ship? I don't need to be down exactly super close to it, but just having a bird's eye view of it.
There are several possibilities. How far away do you want to be?
How good are my elf eyes?
Fairly keen.
Within keen enough distance to be able to make out some details.
Okay.
New measurement, keen enough distance.
We'll give you options. You can be about 50 feet away. You can be about 200 feet away, or you can get one that's about... There's one that is much more hidden, up sort of on the rooftop overlooking everything. You can see where the road leads down to the harbor itself, and so you get a straight shot there, but it's much farther away, and it's probably 600 feet or so away.
I'm going to look at Oust and make just a fast point of 1, 2, 3, and then kind of look and just a questioning like, do you have a preference?
He just stares back at you. and sort of raises his eyebrows as though to say, "What?"
I'm just gonna look at him, smile. Well, you're just a jolly bag of laughs, aren't you? Try to be nice, try to be friendly. I'm just curious, man. I've been there. I just wonder how much I am actually like you. Part of me's really happy about that, and part of me thinks I need a better bedside manner. And I'm going to walk off towards the 200 feet away.
Okay. He follows,
Mhm.
keeping 15, 20 feet distance from you.
Cool. Yep, get to a spot where I can overlook.
Okay. As you get situated into your sort of overlook, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Yay! $29.
29. Okay. So, you have managed to secure a prime spot to see the individuals going on and off the ship, loading or unloading both passengers and cargo. And it seems like most of the cargo is going to be sort of set aside, and the passengers are going to get priority. By and large, it's the Brotherhood. You can see the robes that they wear, the style that they're dressed in, the pendants around their necks. They are almost to an individual wearing the things of that nature. There are a couple exceptions. The first one that catches your eye is a human individual, probably a young male, not dressed in the garb of the Brotherhood, sort of little taller, little bulkier, not really a sailor either, but just some other passenger. And your eyes sort of glance over him and then are drawn back because you're pretty sure you recognize the individual he's standing next to. A fairly androgynous human. Hair is tied back low. You haven't seen this face for several months, but you're pretty sure that's Kahir.
I'm going to have to look back through my notes.
Here's the assassin that shot you in the back.
Yeah, the changeling.
The one you let live.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The one that you sent to spy on the Brotherhood compound.
He told her to join the Edge, not the Brotherhood.
Any important figures that I see moving about that people tend to be gravitating around and towards? Can I make out this position of rank or importance?
There are, with your 29, there are sort of two clusters of people. And I say clusters because it's this sort of ever-changing group of people, but there's always people sort of moving around these two individuals. One of them you do recognize as Reuven, the other is entirely unfamiliar to you. You see the tall, bulky, imposing figure wearing that white leather cape, wearing that very platinum chain of office and the Star of the Brotherhood.
That was not Reuven who's wearing that?
That is Reuven who's wearing that.
That's actually funny that you gave him a platinum chain.
Oh, it's a total mockery.
Yeah.
Total mockery. I really want to mockery his face with an arrow. So badly.
That's the title of Halbard's autobiography. Vicious mockery via arrow.
I'd frag it, Lauren.
And Lauren, you said this is he's in like white half dragon, right? Riven?
You surmise that to be the case.
But what
he
does he look
looks
like?
human here.
Okay, he looks human here. Okay. So he can...
Pan left. I need to think for a little bit.
Okay.
Just went over this. We've gone over this so many times.
You're not here. Shut up. You're hiding in a bathtub. One of us is not afraid. The other one is. The afraid one is not here.
I cannot be afraid of things.
And yet you strangely are.
Cautious. Overly cautious.
Alright, Solyex.
Yep.
You make your way back to Dragon's Heart.
Yep. Okay. How long has it been since I did the thing with R? Messaged.
Hour and a half.
Yep.
Long enough that you expect that if a messenger was moving quickly, it's reasonable to expect Xantier to be waiting at your room.
Right. I will go to my room.
Okay. You go to your chambers. The door is not locked. As you enter in, you do see a nervous figure, sort of hunched, his foot tapping, his leg tapping, moving, bouncing on the floor. Sort of just this picture of anxious waiting. Xantier. And you enter in, and he bounces up from his spot and gives a low bow. My Lord Arbiter.
Good. You made it. Do you know why you're here?
You've recommended me for paladin training, and I have not been living up to my potential, as my instructors say, and so you are here to discipline me and teach me the proper way to act.
You're going to get an education, but I don't think it's the one you're expecting.
You see him sort of tense and get a little nervous.
Time for some Miyagi shit.
So, here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, you're going to meet me here. You're going to have a pack ready for an overnight stay. You're going to bring all equipment you can possibly carry. And you and I are going to go hike up to that cliff back there, and we will train up there for the next day or so.
Yes, my lord. It will be done.
Best way to train is to fear your own mortality. And the cliff is a great place to do that.
And you see his face just sort of go white.
Oh my god. I love it so much.
Yes, my lord.
Perfect. Be ready. First thing tomorrow morning. Busy day ahead of us.
At dawn?
Yep. That's first thing, isn't it?
And you see this sort of slight relaxing of his shoulders. Make an insight check.
I mean, he remembers meeting Sully and the rest of us, right?
Yeah. 16.
16. You remember multiple times when discipline would get you up and you would have to be like multiple hours pre-dawn. And so his like relief, you think probably comes from the fact that he gets to sleep until almost dawn. And this is like a huge relief for him.
Yep. Right. But then also make sure you secure yourself a horse that's ready outside, because while we will be doing some hiking, riding is also good. So get your hands on a horse. Tell them that I sent you and you need a horse. Here. And I scribble down some stuff on a piece of paper and hand it to him and say, essentially it says, get this man a horse, arbiter. Something like that.
He just takes it from you, and he looks down at it, and he looks back at you. He's like, gives a little bit of a grin, and you start to see a little bit more of the youth that you remember emerging through, as he's getting the sense that things are not as dire as he was led to believe initially.
Right. Side note, preferred fighting style. What have they taught you so far?
They haven't let us differentiate. We're working all on basic drills.
Okay. Are you, do you like two weapons? Are you more of a weapon and a shield like myself? Any preferences yet?
I am eager to learn whatever you would teach me, my lord.
Perfect. Bring anything you want to train with. I have some of stuff as well. You're gonna get good. Don't worry. Now, go get sleep, get your stuff. Tomorrow morning, right here.
I'm gonna level you up.
Sleep.
Gotta go fight some low-level plebs for a little bit. Grind a little bit. Get all that EXP.
I think that's where Celiax is taking him.
It's only just noon, my lord.
You also have a lot of equipment to gather, and I want to make sure you're ready. I'm giving you half a day. Enjoy it.
And you see, as you say those words, this grin just very briefly spreads across his face before he quickly makes himself serious again and gives another low bow. So it's like, do you have any further instructions for me, my lord? Or am I dismissed?
Always stay serious. You're good. Go on. Get out of here.
He gives a little grin that he just actually lets stay on his face and then scurries out the door.
All right. That's done. Desmond, here we go. Gotta go talk to him. And I will make my way over to see the archpriest.
Okay. We'll go ahead and pause there real quick. Time frame. Before we jump too far ahead, back to where Rye and Doran and Kazator and Gertie and Sarai and Harker are all at, Halberd, let's catch you up to the current timeline itself. What are you doing?
Fingering an arrow. And passing Cast Without Trace. Casting Cast Without Trace and moving in closer.
So one more time, you're casting Pass Without Trace on...
Moving in closer on myself.
Okay. Just on yourself?
I'm gonna look back at Oust and see what he thinks. If he thinks.
Make an insight check.
Oh, man.
Modified 20.
Modified 20.
Sorry, 21.
21. Okay, good deal. You see a focus in Oust that is very, very intentional. He's observant of his surroundings, but he's also, every couple of seconds, keeping a very close eye on you. You see, anytime you shift or move, you get his attention. He is paying very close attention to how you're moving, how you're acting. And you get the sense that there's a nervous energy there. Like he doesn't know how to predict you. Like he's expecting you to play by certain rules and to act in certain mannerisms based on what you've done before, and somehow you're surprising him. That's what you get with a 21.
I'm going to look at him kind of just in a questioning way, like questioning, head nod, like, are you coming? And see what he does. And if he makes a move like he is willing and actually wanting to come, I'll put pass without trace on him. If he acts like a douche, I'll put pass without trace on myself.
You sort of make that head motion as though you're going to move closer, and he gives a very business-like brief nod and shifts a little bit closer to you.
I'll smile slightly at him and cast pass without trace, and I will move forward and look at a point to see if I can start moving myself in.
Mm-hmm. You smile at him, and you feel his nervous energy just ratchet up.
Perfect. This is fine. Cool.
So yeah, y'all move a little bit closer. How close do you want to get?
Uncomfortably close.
To each other, or
Just in general.
Yes. Moving in to start mixing in close enough with the bodies watching on the piers and the wharf. Picking up body language, getting myself close enough to see Kahir as well as Reuven and the other important figure that I couldn't tell too much about, without drawing attention at all. Sticking to shadows, sticking behind barrels, sticking behind other individuals, whatever it takes just to slip in.
Okay. Go ahead and make another stealth check. Plus 10 with pass without trace.
Do what?
With pass without trace, I'll go ahead and I'll give you this one. Oust is at a 30.
36.
Nice.
Be right back.
Yep. So you're able to move through the crowd very easily. You can get close enough to where the crowds of Brotherhood are being offloaded from the boat. Now these passengers are debarking. They're seeming to gather into a number of groups. It's being coordinated by this young human woman. Her dark hair is pulled back. She's dressed in clerical robes. And she sort of seems to be navigating and distributing the Brotherhood individuals and letting them know where to go, sort of giving them 4 different sort of gathering points, dividing them up. And you're close enough to see how long do you want to stay here?
How long did it take me to get there?
10-15 minutes from your spot, moving through the crowd to get into this position where you can see everything that's happening. Like you have a very good view where your back is against one of the shop walls. There's a pile of barrels over on one of your sides, and you can clearly see the ramp where these individuals are offboarding from the ship, and over here, actually, a fair amount of what's happening also.
30 minutes max, unless something spooks me, and then I'll start moving out quickly without drawing attention. Give me 10 to 15 minutes to evac without drawing attention as well.
Okay. So while you're here and you are perceiving all of this, go ahead and make me one more perception check.
It's caught. No. Not as good. 18.
18. That's okay. That is still enough. You can see there's sort of a gap between where there's an ebb in the wave of individuals coming off the boat, and it's during this ebb where you can see Kahir and this other individual are walk. Actually, I should roll for this. Okay, yeah, good deal. You can see where they are walking off the boat also, and without really noticing you at this point, actually, without Kahir noticing you,
Uh-oh.
they're walking past, and the too many hats, guys. Okay, so there's this sort of ebb in the traffic off the boat. Kahir and this other individual are coming off at that point. They've both got packs over their shoulders. They're walking past you. You can hear a conversation that they're having very briefly, and it catches your ear just very, very minutely, because you're pretty sure you hear something about the 11th hour. And the words itself don't make much sense in context. That's just the little bit that you're catching. And you... then they're out of earshot at that point, and you're not really able to follow the conversation with them. Shortly after that, just less than a minute after their passing, the last large group of Brotherhood start to offload, and Reuven and this other very sort of, you would guess, high-ranked individual offload from the ship also.
What does the individual look like?
In a lot of ways, similar to Reuven. Also human, also very burly and brawny, powerfully built individual.
Male, female?
Male.
I didn't know.
Middle-aged.
What colors and what symbol of Brotherhood? What colors is he wearing and what symbol of Brotherhood?
He's not wearing any particular colors individual. He is wearing the same sort of undyed homespun robe, tunic, and boots that the rest of the Brotherhood are wearing. You do note that he is also wearing a platinum chain of office.
Do I get the impression, like just as I'm watching things, I don't know how to ask this. Do I get the impression based on watching other people that I have been watched or noticed? Not necessarily like specifically picked out, but like has there been a locking of eyes with Reuven or with somebody else?
Not that you've noticed. Nothing about the flow of people leads you to believe that you've been spotted. Nothing has really shifted or changed in the group of people around you. It seems like you have, from your best knowledge, it seems like you've avoided detection.
As Kahir moves by, I feel comfortable watching the scene before she gets too far gone. I'm going to very just deftly pull out the bronze Brotherhood pendant that I have and walk off.
Okay.
Just have it slightly hang. Not making a show of it. It's literally just present it and disappear into the crowd.
Okay, so you're wearing it as sort of, or are you holding it and...
I'm kind of pulling it out of the pocket, like if it would be in like a trouser pocket, and just letting it kind of hold out, keeping it in place with my hand, but just kind of letting it dangle out of the pocket just for a couple of seconds, dispersing the crowd, and then putting it back.
Okay. It doesn't seem to attract any particular attention.
That's fine. I'm going to go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do you have a particular destination in mind? Are you
Just-
following Kahir? Are you...
Following Kahir, seeing the conversation, just staying a little bit distant on the outskirts and just seeing which way they move. And then when passed without traces, 10 to 15 minutes of knowing that I'm going to fade out of it, then I'm going to peel off and head back. Start making my way back.
Okay. As you are following Kahir, go ahead and make a perception check.
That is better.
Good. Okay.
27.
27. Okay. Yes. You can see the point where Kahir sort of starts to fade into the crowd in a way you're very familiar with, where they start moving with the flow of traffic, essentially, and letting that hide them and their companion as they're moving forward. And very quickly, they leave the area of the Brotherhood. They get to a somewhat quieter side street. You see Kahir is sort of pulling their companion to the side, and be like, as you approach, you can overhear their conversation, and Kahir's like, no, you move with the people, matching their speed, and you walk with quiet footsteps, toe first, then heel, moving with the flow of traffic. It's hard to explain, I know, but watch my feet, watch how I move, and sort of trying to explain to this other individual how to move a little quieter.
I'm going to motion for Alce to stay back and step in and say, no, kind of like this.
Halbard with a sense of humor.
Okay. Kahir spins around towards the mouth of the alley. Orbrus, you see this elven individual appear, coming out, speaking into the alley as Kahir is trying to get you to move a little bit smoother through the city and avoid attracting quite so much attention. You recognize this is one of the ones you've been looking for.
Oh no. So I've got one on each side, basically, right?
Kahir is next to you, and Halberd is sort of, 10, 15 feet away at the mouth of the alley here?
Little bit closer, like
Okay.
about 5 feet, like over the left shoulder, moving in.
Yeah, and Halberd was completely silent as he approached. You just get this voice from right behind you.
Well, that is a neat trick. Can you do that again? Show me. Do it again.
I don't know. I'm going to tap his left shoulder and just redirect the look and just sidestep into the shadows. Looking at Kahir and kind of like, well, is this one of your new pupils? I hope not to get as intimately acquainted with this one as your other ones got with me.
No. I have a report for you. You had asked me to watch the compound. It is emptied. And I believed that deserved notice. You are difficult to track when you want to be. This one seemed to know somewhat of following you,
I'm going to eye very suspiciously.
you see me just trying to do the toe first, like walk through the crowd, fail, back up, wait for the next person, walk through the crowd, fail. Just keep trying this stealthy thing.
Heel, toe. Heel, toe.
All right, heel toe. He just said they just said toe heel. Which is it now?
Depends on what you're trying to do.
I'm
going to smile at you here. It is actually very good to see a familiar face in dangerous places.
Our last meeting had not led me to believe you would give such a warm welcome.
Well,
Things change.
friends are hard to come by. Acquaintances sometimes are even harder because they keep dropping dead.
So you two know each other?
You keep dropping dead too.
Do I?
Too soon, bro. Too soon.
Man, I was gonna make a dark joke at the top of the episode too.
Apologize. My mic picks up more than I realized.
Yeah, right?
So this one has been trying to find us. I'm paying attention to you, but there's very much of a definite, like, I'm not focusing on you outside of, I don't know you yet.
I'm just kind of like tiptoeing around, trying to do the thing.
He's got a good heart.
He tries. He... And you see Kahir sort of give a little bit of an eyebrow raise. He claims he will help you save the world.
Whoa.
Gonna raise eyebrows and just look at him. That's a mighty tall offer.
Well, I mean, you're a mighty tall person. As I say this, looking kind of like eye level.
Albert, make a perception check.
I'm very curious about
28.
name description. What is this man?
Yeah.
28. As he's talking and as he's moving, a bracelet he wears catches your eye. Something about the weight of his footsteps doesn't match up with the physical image he's presenting. And as soon as you see that bracelet, you're like, wait a second. That looks very much like what Torian and his folk wore. What Rai wears. It would make sense that there would be something of a mismatch between his physical appearance and the actuality that would make it difficult for him to get the true art of the footsteps and the movement that you're trying to show.
I have a feeling there's more to this one than meets the eye, am I right?
Kahir sort of raises an eyebrow. I believe that is true of us all.
Now I don't have their tricks, but pointing at Kahir. But this is about as good as I can do.
We'll see what we can do to help you with that one later.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Kahir, is there any other news? Why is the compound emptied? Do you know? What's exactly going on right now?
They have all been coming here. There's a ceremony that they all wish to attend. And if they did not wish, they are coming anyway.
One by Reuben. One with a platinum chain.
Crenshaw.
Like KR or REN?
CRENSHAW.
Crenshaw is the leader of the Brotherhood, Crenshaw?
The leader of that.
Yeah, I think they were the leader of that particular spot.
I just have Crenshaw Brotherhood leader written on the second page of my notes. So
Do you know?
He was the leader of that compound, I believe.
Do you know what their intent is?
Suspicion only. No true knowledge.
Guesses in the dark, then.
Nothing good. It's
Meaning,
not safe to stay more in the open.
how close are you, and can you get away, or are you expected?
I'm not expected.
What type of vibe am I getting off body language? Is it an easy position, or is it uneasy seeing me again?
Make an insight check.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. There is a lot of nervous energy sort of contained within Kikir, but purposeful. It's like they've been given a task, and there's sort of a satisfaction and pride in seeing it to completion. Almost a little bit of relief on seeing you. Not necessarily comfortable with you, not necessarily entirely trusting, but you get the sense with the natural 20 that they didn't expect to find you this quickly.
Perfect.
And that this was a little bit of a relief that you finding them made their job easier.
And I'm also going to just go ahead and ask out of my suspicious mind personality. There isn't like, even with finding me so easy, there's not this point of like, oh crap, like I wasn't expecting to meet him just yet because, well, I'm just really not happy to meet him. I was hoping to meet him on my terms because I have other things that I need to do to get ready to meet him. Basically, do I get an idea just off body language of you're uncomfortable because you've been recruited by somebody else? Because last time I met them, I was shot in the back and almost killed
That's fair.
by somebody. I think the Brotherhood hired them, and now I send them back into the Brotherhood, and now I don't know if the Brotherhood rehired them and upped the bid, which I didn't pay them anything except their life. So there's that. So the bid's not hard to beat.
we're real good at this.
Well, no, I offered her the chance at revenge.
That's the best thing about D&D. We make plans, and then those plans go to shit, and you get to improvise.
Right. I will say, reading that reasons behind emotions is very, very difficult.
Understand.
But you don't see any paraphernalia of the Brotherhood. The clothing that they wear is different. It is not that uniform garb that you have seen them wear. It's still plain and fairly nondescript. It blends in very well with the town and the citizenry here in the docks. But it's not Brotherhood, and you don't see any of their symbology on their person.
Any symbol up the edge, and then I'm ready to go.
Not that you see. Nothing overt.
If you're not expected, maybe come with me, and we might be able to talk about this in safer places as to what you might perceive their intentions to be. Remind me your name, my friends, new friend.
Oh, my name Orbrus.
Orbrus. Well, Mr. Orbrus, we're going to move as deftly as possible,
Oh, well,
and I might be able to help out with that.
well, if we're going to do this on purpose, I'll cast Pass Without a Trace.
Okay.
Perfect.
So you cast it on you and Kahir and Halberd, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Okay.
I mean, do I even see? Did I even notice Alf?
Nope.
Yeah, then no. Yeah, it's just the three of us that I see.
Okay. So Halberd, you and Kahir and Orbris are where? Where are you going? You leading them?
I'm going to head back towards the district that we came from, where Gertie's was. Probably not go back there, but just start making our way there. Do I see Oust?
Make a perception check.
No, I don't. That's a 15.
Yeah, nope.
Can I cast Pass Without Trace on him?
Let me look real quick. Do you have to see the target?
I have to look.
It does not say a creature you can see on that spell. It just says a creature you
choose within 30 feet of you. Yeah. So yeah, you can target Oust.
Cool. I'll cast it on him and start moving up.
Does it still connect though?
If he's within 30 feet.
Yeah, I guess.
So, yeah.
Magic's
So for brevity's sake, you give me your stealth rolls.
28.
Natural,
Okay.
Plus 10.
natural 20 for a 43.
Halbard found himself in another campaign.
You vanished out of this campaign and reappeared in a different one.
Oh.
The
I'm sitting here
gods
like,
can't
man, I
even
got
see
48.
you.
I'm awesome.
You did.
Screw you and your 40s.
Okay. So you are all fairly stealthy. Moving without detection quickly. Halberd, where are you leading them to?
Moving back up towards the district where Gertie's shop was, where I've got a little bit more familiarity with that. I can access the sewers from there, move our way back down as needed.
Yep. Yeah, without a problem. With the stealth roll like that, undetected, you make your way through back to the river district, and you find a sewer entrance. Make a survival check for me.
Well, there it went. Natural 4 for an 11.
An 11. Okay.
11.
So you start leading them through the tunnels, and then you get to a fork and you start heading left, and then Oust puts his hand on your shoulder just very briefly this way and heads to the right.
Gonna nod. Like, I see you. Respect. Because I'm lost and follow him.
Did
you
we not
see,
get-
make an insight check.
24.
24. Okay. As you sort of accept his correction, like it was the briefest of touches, just enough to get your attention, and then Oust was out of your space. Really was.
It's so creepy.
That tracks.
As you accept that and accept his correction, really without protestation, you see the sort of this tension that had filled his frame just relax ever so slightly. And between the two of y'all do manage to make it back to the catacombs, and we'll say fairly quickly, we'll go ahead and reunite the two groups.
As soon as we're down in the catacombs, I'll reach down to my bracelet, tap the charm, and the half-elven form will drop, and a 6 foot tall, green-skinned half-orc stands before you. Kind of stretch a little bit and like, oh no, that is a lot better. I'm not a fan of staying in that form for very long.
You're brave, and I appreciate that, but I'm not sure how everyone in the catacombs is going to feel about you. So enjoy the time out, but if I might suggest before we find somebody, maybe jump back into disguise for a little while until we figure out just how safe you actually are right now.
I mean, if I must, I must. I just don't want to must unless I have to.
I understand. I also know there's a lot of I don't want to have to right now going around today. So welcome to the club. I don't mean any offense, but really I'm just trying to look out for your safety until we get everything figured out.
Well, I can appreciate that.
So enjoy the time being in true presence, and if we find someone, I'll let you know.
Let me know if I need to switch back.
And I'll let them know before we find anyone on the trail.
Y'all don't pass anybody really until you get into the more populated sections of the catacombs. And even then, it's fairly quiet from what you would expect of. From what Gertie and Sarai and Harker have led you to believe, there's a fair number of people around here, but it's been awfully quiet since you've been in here. You're not quite sure what's going on with that.
Great. Great. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
But what I mean, since y'all got in here is like since y'all got in here for the first time. So like 2 days, 3 days ago now.
It's still a trap.
If it's a trap, it just hasn't sprung yet.
We've only been here for like 3 days? Oh my God, if we've been here for like a year.
I know!
So as we get closer, and he lets me know, I'll turn back on and do a little wait on now. All right, I think I'm good to go.
All right, so for brevity's sake, the groups reunite. It's not hard to locate especially if you're asking for Sarai. It's pretty common gossip. You get the sense that Sarai and Harker were going to have a date this morning. That a number of individuals were sort of planning to gently tease and make light fun.
Oh, how the turns have tabled.
So the groups reunite. Rai, Doran, Kazator, Halberd, and Oust enter in with these two other individuals. And by now, this fairly small cavern is getting very crowded.
How far are we in the conversation? Like, are we still talking about what happened, or are we past that?
You're we'll say most of the way through giving the details of what has happened, as much detail as y'all want to give.
I'm sitting in a corner and I'm not talking.
As they walk in, I'm just sitting on the table eating cheesecake. And
Sitting on the table?
yeah, I'm just sitting on the table, feet on the seat, just like. And as they walk in, I just look up and see an unknown into this very like intimate setting. And Halbert, who the blazes is this?
Is it? Do I need to?
It's been a very trying day, to say the least. We lost one of our own hours ago. But no, there's no judgment here. You need not worry. You need not fear.
Yeah, Orberus, at this point, you're recognizing these individuals from your visions. There is one missing, though, that you would have expected to be here.
So two, technically.
Two, technically, yeah.
So I'll
Can I ask a question? Which one did you Freudian slip? Sorry, keep going.
I'll flip out the charm, tap it, change back into my half-orc self, and I'm sorry to hear of your loss. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're missing the big scaly one and the one who's God confused. Which?
Well,
I wouldn't expect the god confused one anytime soon. The scaly one will be back around at some point.
I'm really sorry to hear about that. I've been, well, to say the least, I've been hot on your trail for more than 6 months at this point. My people received a vision of, well, technically, I guess we'll go the long route, but for the sake of keeping it short and sweet, our storm giant friend saw a vision of a second shattering, and in seeking our own visions, we saw, well, you. And I was chosen by fate and the gods and whatever other forces may determine one's destiny. So I came looking for y'all. By the way, y'all know a little, I said little way down here, but you can't see it on camera. So little halfling. You're muted, Jordan.
Oh, no, I'm not. I was just thinking halfling named out deer because that's what I was expecting, but Case started. Oh, sorry, proceed.
Yeah. Little halfling of the druid type, named Audir.
Yes.
Well, she said to tell you hi. She didn't. Right, which form are you in?
Rye is still in her elf form, and she probably, when she realized they were staying in that room, summoned the trunk and sat down kind of heavily on it.
She didn't mention the elven one or the two silver ones here, so I'm guessing there's some correlation. But the long and short of it is, y'all are supposed to save the world.
Lauren, I've got. We haven't talked logistics of it. I know Lita gave Doran 2 bottles of rum, and he's been nursing one, but he's got that bottle out right now.
Okay.
As a half-orc, I don't remember his name, says this, there's just a... You hear that, Rye? Apparently we're heroes. Should have had more faith in us.
I feel like I've done put my foot in the owlbear trap.
You've done nothing wrong. You don't need to apologize. Just bear with a lot of emotion and a lot of frustration mixed in with equal parts. Just pain and hurt. So don't take it too personally.
I do understand that's loss can be a powerful thing, but
is all dear well?
Well, she seems to be feisty as ever. We went to something called the Keep.
I was wondering.
And spent some time there cleaning and blessing the place. Y'all have no idea how long I've been trying to find you. It seems like every time I arrive a place you just left.
Yeah, we jump around quite a bit. Sometimes hard to settle down.
Yeah, there was a month I couldn't even find what plane of existence you were on, but we're here now. That's the important thing.
And I don't mean to sound rude, but just maybe a little bit of peace for a moment, if you don't mind.
Oh,
We're
no,
coming back into the full weight of things.
Oh, no problem. Who's the I guess the groundskeeper, or maybe the keeper of fine things to supplies and things of that down here?
Who's the keeper of supplies? You mean like the shops inside the catacombs, or?
I was thinking more of, I mean, I don't see any, I see a fine spread here, but I don't quite see beverages or things of that nature.
This is out of my wheelhouse. I don't know.
Well, I'll leave y'all for a moment. Let me see if I can find a beverage or two. Nothing soothes the soul like a good cup of coffee. Maybe a spot of tea, but
Oh shit, that was fun.
I'll be back and you come find me when you're done, and I'll go make my way, just meandering around the catacombs until I find somebody who has drinks.
Coffee.
Okay. The last time.
Make
Go-
a
Don't wander too far, mate. Don't.
make a survival check.
I hope he finds mine.
Roll character for it's fine.
Roll a new character.
19.
19. Without too much trouble, you when specifically asking about beverages, people point you to Milo
Yes.
and the still that he has set up there.
So happy.
I'll get with Milo, bring out a bunch of cups. I will brew. I'll brew some tea because it's coffee seems like a bit much at this point. Maybe a little strong. Maybe a little strong. So I'll brew some tea and add a couple little bit of Milo's special reserve if I can convince him to part ways with a little bit of it.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm good at those. Oh. Do it. 16?
16. It takes a little bit. He wants to know what you'll give him in exchange. He's willing to part with it, but he wants something in return.
I will hand him. I will hand him a small pouch of herbs left over from my bit with Torian,
Okay.
and just say, now, you gotta be careful with these. A pinch is all you need, and if you're not prepared, it'll knock you on your ass.
Now, are these first question? These are actual herbs, right? Not special herbs.
No, these are the herbs that we helped Torian grow.
Right. Okay.
And so while I was on the ship, I grew a few
Special.
more, ground them up, and made a pouch of them.
Okay.
So
Are
they're not
these
the-
going to be slightly sweeter or more savory?
A little bit on the sweeter side.
Okay. Very faintly, Milo tries to smell at it, and you can see when he gets the whiff a little bit too close. He's just like, make a mighty fine mead out of these.
I'm telling you, add just a pinch to your drinks, and your patrons will thank you after they wake up. So, if you don't mind, and so we'll pour the tea, pour just a little bit, mix that in, and then I'll just to show him, I'll take a little pinch and just around the to kind of mix in with the tea, and then once it's all brewed together, I'll pour it into glasses or cups or whatever we have, and take it in and just set it on the table for them.
You can get some pretty hearty mugs. thrown pottery, essentially, ceramic mugs. All right, while Orberus is off doing that, what are y'all doing?
Drinking.
Is Kahir still present?
Kahir is still present. Quiet, unless y'all have specifically been directing questions to them.
Just
Rye's probably just going to lean back and be like, well, this is fabulous.
Oust comes and sits on the ground, leans against your trunk.
Are we supposed to talk freely in front of you?
Are you addressing this to Kahir?
Mm-hmm.
Say what you will. I am here to make my report. And then be gone.
Very true. Let me take the report and I'll be back momentarily.
Okay. So are you taking Kahir aside, or are you asking in the room with everybody?
I will take Kahir outside of the room and just give a little bit more space. I don't feel like that's more right now is probably not a good idea, but unless someone objects, but
I've got this thing set up across from me.
yeah.
And I'm just drinking and I'm just staring at it. The inside of it.
I'm expecting bad news out of this because I don't expect anything good. So more bad news is not what I view as beneficial right now for the crew. And I'll take it outside.
Okay. So you take Kahir aside. And for brevity's sake, the information that you get is such that from what you can tell, not only the Cedar Grove compound, but the other 3 largest compounds on the mainland have been emptied, and their individuals, if they aren't here already, are on their way. The Brotherhood is massing, essentially, in Dragon Throne. You're hearing rumors of debts being called in and favors owed that are being called on to gain any fragment of magical anything, components, potions, any hedge witch blessed knife or gear, or any fragment of anything magical is being sort of collected and brought along. That you're hearing rumors of a ritual, but a ritual on a scale that is hard to even comprehend. They keep calling it a celebration and homecoming.
This is bad news bears all written all over it.
I'm going to just take it in. Well, this is about average. Any word? Do you have any idea what the ritual is? Do you have any thoughts? I know you're not someone who's stupid, and I know that you actually listen, keep your ear to the ground in your research. You don't just take jobs without knowing the ins and outs. So do you have anything that you would personally suspect that this is leading towards? Asking. Sound very worn while I'm asking. Like it's just heavy. There's nothing light.
From what I overheard, there will be 5 focal points, equidistant, in the city itself. Various places. And then some central point of the ritual where it seems like everything culminates. I'm not familiar with the locations themselves. I don't know the layout of the city. But I know there was much communication. The ship's messenger birds were very busy correlating with those here in the city itself.
Messenger bird. Are all the ships in?
Not yet. We made excellent time. The winds favored us. From what I understand, was still 3-4 days earlier than were expected.
I wonder if our luck might hold out on that. Did you ever get in contact with the Edge?
Esco wants to know why you never returned. It's not my place to speak for you, on your behalf, or on hers. But when last I saw her, she wondered.
Yes, there were decisions made that I felt sometimes rather powerless on that day. That's the price of being gone. That is fair. And there's much that I would like to be able to go back and communicate and achieve. I think, as you know, this city is no longer very safe, and I would encourage possibly leaving the area if possible. Finding a place to be safe, is the one that's being summoned, I do not believe stands in any position of life and truth and goodness.
Summoned? You think this ritual is a conjuration of some kind?
I suspect largely that if this continues on the way it is, we are a magnet for bad luck, and we are summoning something larger to ourselves. Whether we want it or not, unless we can stop something. Or conjuration. Do you have an impression that it might be something different?
Make a persuasion check.
Not good. That's a 10.
10. I had no clear guess one way or the other.
Well, I can't. Yeah, that would make sense. If I could encourage you or even suggest, get out of the city, get out of this area, get someplace safe. There's been too much lost already. And I'm going to reach inside my bag and pull out one of the only poison bomb that I have left that I took from her, and I'm going to hand it back to her. Be safe. Dark days ahead. Don't trust the Brotherhood.
That much, I think, is evident.
I don't know.
My revenge is not complete. There is no saving myself. Do you strike back against them with your schemes and plans here?
Going to just look up and smile. For my part, I look to slay a dragon.
Make a persuasion check.
Yes, the DM said so.
15.
15. A dragon would be worthy prey. I will be nearby if you have need of my services.
You have expenses covered while you're in the city?
I will have no issue finding accommodation.
I am not surprised by that. I only wish I could offer you more. You've done more than enough already, and I appreciate it very much. Even just seeing a familiar face is sometimes enjoyable, especially on the eve of destruction or more destruction. I'm gonna pull out, yeah, I've got enough, 30 gold piece, hand it to her and say, just be safe. And I'm pretty sure if something happens, you'll know. And any help would be greatly appreciated in that moment.
You reach out your hand with the gold, and rather than taking the bag, she grasps your wrist. They grasp your wrist. And they look intently at you, meeting your gaze directly, and say, "The weight of fresh grief lies heavy on your shoulders."
It is a road we have both walked.
Find purpose. You gave me vengeance. Do not let this grief overwhelm you.
I'm going to look at the arrow of dragon slaying that Bahamut gave me and the pendant of my sanctum. Say, I have a purpose. Hopefully we get to see it through to the end. But I do believe I best join my friends as we walk through this grief together.
You see Kahir sort of nod and stiffen their shoulders. Very well. As I said, I will be near.
And I will try to be in touch. And I will give a salute and a half bow and head on back. I'm sure someone such as yourself knows how to find her way out. I say that as a compliment, not as like a dig.
Mm-hmm. As you've turned to leave and you sort of look over your shoulder, and your passive perception is 20, is that right?
21.
21. Perfect. You get just the barest glimpse of the edge of their cloak as they find the shadows and move stealthily away.
Perfect. I'll walk back in with the group.
While that was happening, Lauren, as they walked out, Quesatora would have stood up with the half-eaten cheesecake, on the plate, glanced over at Harker and
No.
No,
drops it on the table.
no, back up.
I'm out. Back up. You froze.
You froze.
Where did I freeze?
You froze.
Right as you're like, I turned to Harker.
Oh, nice. So I stand up with the cheesecake on the platter, look over at Harker and say, could have done better for such a woman, couldn't you? Drop it. And I walk out the door. As I walk towards the door, I say, Doran, take a walk with me? And I pause at the door to see if he follows.
Oh my gosh.
Damn. Oh my God.
Doran, do you follow?
I'm conflicted. I'm thinking. I'll scoop up the chest plate, and I still have the bottle in my hand, and I've been drinking from it a lot.
Okay.
Define a lot.
I was prepared.
This time, too.
Oh my god.
I feel like I'm gonna have to roll.
Doran is a creature of habit.
Yes, a little
Garrett's
bit.
creature habit.
So, what is your Constitution modifier?
The modifier is a 3.
Is a 3. Okay, so you can have 3 full drinks before the effects of the alcohol really hit you.
It's had more than that.
I'm probably there.
So, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and have you roll a Constitution saving throw.
Or is it considered poison, or does he get advantage?
Hold up, let me look at this.
He's a dwarf, and so if it's poison, he gets advantage. If you count alcohol as poison.
Has it reached the point of alcohol poisoning yet?
It has not reached alcohol poisoning yet.
No, it wouldn't. It's one bottle that he's already been drinking from. It's not a full bottle.
Right.
We
So
never established how much was left in there by this point, but half maybe.
we'll say half, give or take a little bit. Enough to have a fairly strong effect if consumed all at once in a short period of time.
That's just half a drink.
Go ahead and yes, this one will be at advantage.
I'm already at like half hit points anyway of my total. So I don't know if that takes into effect.
Loss of blood.
I'm sorry. Am I meant to do a saving throw?
Yes.
Oh, actually, wait. Saving throw for Constitution is 8. The normal modifier is 3, but the saving throw modifier is
Right. Because you added
Okay.
your proficiency. That's fine. No, I just need the actual con mod. That's the number of drinks that you can start with.
It doesn't matter. I rolled a natural 20.
Okay, yeah, no, you're fine. You're slugging it back at this point. So periodically, as you continue drinking, we will let me know, and we'll make more of these saves. Because right now you're not even buzzed yet. You don't even have a single level of intoxication.
Okay. There's levels. Okay, anyway. I shouldn't be surprised, but also, like, I didn't consider that was... Anyway. So he asked me to go walk with him. So I stood up. I look at the chest plate. I pick it up, and I just go, and I step out the door, and I just I'm stuck there.
So as we walk, are you staying by the door?
Well, I think I'm stuck at the door right now.
Okay. As I step out and see whichever way Halberd went, I'll just kind of turn the other direction, intending to just fairly aimlessly, but just kind of towards the direction I see least people as I begin to wander. But as I get a few steps away and
Right. That's a question. This is sort of city adjacent under here.
Adjacent.
There are people around-ish.
Ish.
All right. I probably take a few steps to follow him, but then I just lean on the wall and just slide and sit down. And I'm just looking at the inside of the chest plate again.
Are we out of earshot at least?
Of the ones in the room, or Halbert and Kahir?
The room specifically.
If you speak quietly, you're probably out of earshot.
Okay. And Halbert and Kier, I was going the opposite direction of them. So,
Right.
Good enough. As I see him stop, I hear the slide against the wall. I kind of turn around and see him. I was kind of sigh, and I'm just kind of start pacing on the far side of him from the room. And just not really making eye contact, just kind of staring at the ground, walking back and forth, and just, what are we doing, Doran? We're supposed to be a family. We called each other brothers. We just lost the second member of a family because he didn't trust us enough to tell us what he was doing. Halbert wants to hide information to maintain control of the situation. We don't know how to talk to one another. We don't know how to trust one another after all this time. Although, I think I'm beginning to agree with Halbert's decision. Rye, I think the only way she sees herself as part of this family is as a mother who's dealing with incompetent children who have to be handled. She doesn't even give us the chance to resolve a situation before she runs to her sanctum. Maybe Halbert saw that. Maybe that's why he was withholding, and I can't fault him for that if he was more perceptive than I. If I was blinded by past feelings.
I'm just kind of sitting there like this. I got the chest plate, and I just toss it down.
I just sit beside him.
Maybe the bastard deserved it. Maybe the dumb bastard deserved it.
He certainly brought it on himself.
I mean, we know what that sound was. We know what that fucking sound was. We've heard it enough times when he's used it in a fight. And he couldn't take the time to talk to us. And if we can't fucking talk to each other, how are we supposed to help each other? Because if we talk to it, maybe we could have done something different. What's the point of wearing that fucking thing? I never showed any of you this. Not yet. The only one who knows about it was Rye. Look in there. Look at what I did. I thought I was doing something meaningful with it. But it doesn't matter. Not now. After failing again and again. That stupid family. Both of those dumb bastards, they didn't take the time to listen to us or talk to us or anything. Stupid bastard! Excuse me while I clean up. And I pick up the chest plate and I hand it to Casator. and I hand it to him with the inside showing to him. And he sees inscribed on the inside all the names: Lita, Sarai, Sullyx, Halbard, Casator, Valtana, Rai, Nightbane, Audir, Koratana, Farin, Craora, Vaughn, Gardine, Xantir, and Venera. Do you read Dwarven?
I do not.
Okay, well, there's a little sentence in there in Dwarven that you wouldn't read, you wouldn't understand. But for the sake of the audience, I would say that it is something to the effect of, these are the ones most important to me. And after I hand it to him, I look at what's left in the bottle, I just pour it out, and I just wander off. And you're perceptive enough, you can probably hear that he's crying.
As Doran walks off, Casator pulls out his symbol of Ayun and just kind of holds it in one hand as it's hung around his neck. I haven't talked to you in a long time. Our relationship was never what Val had with his deity, or Sarai, or Sulyex. You were a friend out there somewhere. Someone I could talk to when I was young and alone. Someone I hoped was listening. Then you brought me a friend. You gave me someone so that I didn't have to talk to the wind. And then I left my home and I began to talk to you again. I was alone on the road like I was as a child. And then you brought me to the Sanctum. You always guided me with knowledge whenever I needed you. Knowledge was supposed to be power. It could be wielded for good. I feel very powerless right now. And I find myself in the midst of the people I call family and feeling alone again. I have to stay alive to find my sister. I thought that we had a purpose, that we were helping each other to fulfill, that was something far beyond just us. And I set aside the thing that was most important to me. I don't know what to do.
I probably would have circled around back at this point, because I didn't go far.
Just close my eyes and, still holding the symbol, just lean my head against the wall.
If I make my way back, I find him. I'm going to sit down next to him. Put my hand on your shoulder.
Doran,
Aye.
you, me, Albert Solyex. We're brothers.
Aye.
And we have to figure out what it is that we're going to do. We have a shot in hell to complete it. And if not, I can't risk my life for something I know is going to fail when I have such an important task ahead of me. You have a family waiting for you. You have someone you love waiting for you.
I know.
We need to find out, we need to know if this road that we're walking is hopeless. Because I can't walk a road without hope.
I agree.
So what do we do now?
What was that? Can you repeat the question?
So what do we do now?
I don't have that answer. The only thing I know right now is we grieve and then we pick ourselves up. Like the last time, and the time before it, and the time before that. And however many times back as it goes. We have to pick ourselves up after a moment to grieve.
At least we don't have to pick ourselves up.
And you heard Sully X too. You heard him out front of Gertie's shop, having to tell lies to cover all our arses. I don't blame him, but it pisses me off nonetheless.
I think I feel sorriest for him. The rest of us got to run and hide. He had to put on a good face. He had to deal with the people. He shouldn't have had to do that alone.
No.
I gave him the only thing I could as we left. I just wish it could have been more.
Oh, and I remember all the words spoken about coming back here, and we were all going to make a triumphant entrance with him, and we're the allies of the Arbiter and all this shite. And what have we done the whole time we've been here? We've been hiding like rats, criminals.
I think it's time to not abandoning this mission, to really prepare.
Aye. And then I scoop up the chest plate from him. I don't think you were holding it, but it was with you.
Yeah, it was just kind of leaning up beside me with my arm on it.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the names again. Make sure that we're worthy to do the job as well. That we're ready, like you said. And he's just sitting there like you can tell he wants to put the thing back on, but he's still not ready to put that thing back on yet.
There's a war coming, Doran.
Aye.
And if we decide that it is our war, there's not a man alive I'd stand with before you.
Thank you. There's not a better group of people, even if we are a bunch of assholes. Best family I've had.
Nobody's perfect, right?
Definitely not. Let's go see what those other idiots are in there. They probably miss us already. And then I stand up and offer to help him up.
I'll take his arm and stand up and prepare to go back in.
Come on. And I guess we go back into the room that everybody else was in. Does Harker still have spaghetti on him?
I think there was some extrapolation there.
You notice that at this point, the food and everything has been cleared away, put up. Is like the flowers have been set off to the side. It's as somber as you can make what was the scene of a date before y'all came in.
Turned into this.
Was I just in there alone for a while?
You and Oust and Sarai and Harker were in there, and Gertie. The 5 of y'all were in there.
I was about to say double date, not quite.
We had a chaperone.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Lauren, just
Yes.
out of curiosity on the timeline, would I have been done with my conversation, or would we be finishing up at the same time?
You'd probably have finished up slightly before. You would have come into and overheard probably the tail end of that. And at this point, Orberus is making his way back with the tea also.
As they come around that corner, I'm just going to embrace them, and we'll just all walk in together.
Oh, man.
Lean on me.
Alright. So y'all have all regathered at this point. Orberus is distributing the tea he has brewed. Siliex is still off, all on his lonesome. Is there anything else you wanted to accomplish this afternoon, Siliex, before we jump into it with these guys here?
I was going to go talk to the archpriest. And find him. This is going to go on.
Okay. So you find him. You ask to be led to him, and he's actually getting ready to go out into the city. He is in full regalia, all of his most official garb, and he greets you. Siliex, you'll forgive me. I don't have very long, but a moment could be spared for you. What do you need? What do you need?
Well, probably fill you in before you hear from the streets and get the wrong idea. Don't know what you've heard yet, but I went out to get breakfast with Aura, her name's Aura. And she then went to go meet the ship, and I was in the streets, and I had heard a rumor about a shop that had been raided recently for things, and so I was like, maybe heretics. And they told me not to do it, but I was there. So I went looking, and Sure enough, at Gritty Captain's Camp, I found someone who was healing. Forget this though. I believe he was, well, okay, where do I begin? I went in, he apparently had healed Gertie and was like, oh, I'm the healer. So I was like, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I serve the lady. And I said, which lady? Obviously, there's a few of them. Turns out, he was serving her, and obviously, something had to be done about it. So, I killed him.
Val had another deity. My God.
I know you told me not to go hunting characters, but I was there, and it was right there, and I was like, well, I'm the Arbiter. What do you... So, I come tell you, also, I felt that you update you on my plans for Xantier.
I love Sullix.
Pause for a moment. Roll a deception check for me.
Yeah, that's good.
He's got to roll 5 deception.
19.
Okay.
Pretty good.
As the Desmond pauses you before you can continue. He says, Sullix, I had heard rumors, and truly I cannot fault your zeal. But there's more going on than I think you are fully aware of yet.
Care to fill me in?
Soon. Very soon.
Oh, dang.
Soon is a relative term. I don't
Isn't
like
it?
waiting. You know this.
I do. You were about to fill me in on your plans for young Xantier, though.
Right. So, when folks grow, I share, you share. All right. So, my plan is essentially tomorrow morning. You know this list? Well, I find the best way to learn how to fight is to feel your own mortality. So, I was going to take him for an overnight stay at the cliffs and give him some hand-to-hand, first-hand experience of what it's like to fear death a little bit. Don't worry, he'll be fine. I'm going to tether him to myself. He'll be fine. But I figured I should let you know that Xantier and myself will be leaving the city for an overnight stay.
I have entrusted him to your care.
Perfect.
Train him as you see fit. When you return, we will have to speak further. It looks like I am needed shortly.
Right. There's a boat coming. Who's on the boat?
Friends. From what I understand, they've made exceptionally good time and have arrived a bit early. The parade shall have to be sped up.
It was a parade. I like parades. I don't like parades. That's true. You know me better than that. Lauren, can I? What is his? What sense do I get? Like when he references friends, is it a catch? Is he like excited? Is it? What's the vibe on that?
Make an insight check.
Well, that's a 1 for 7.
Okay. It's hard to read, really, at this point. He's very vicious, and you're still a bit shaken by the events of earlier in the day. There's a lot running through your head at this point, and it's just you're not catching a lot of the intricacies of conversation like you normally would.
Okay. Well, you obviously look like you're getting to a thing. I will see you when I get back in the city. Have a wonderful time, Archpriest.
Be safe in the cliffs.
Of course.
And don't scare the young one too badly.
Not scaring, it's education.
Of course.
Sometimes the truth can be scary.
Absolutely.
It's always good to find out the truth of the matter, right?
Always.
I thought
Wield it
exactly.
as the sword that it can be.
Man, I don't trust this man. Shit.
He's a dragonborn,
All right,
so that's fair.
to go learn the truth. Here we go.
And you are dismissed from his presence. He is getting ready to leave himself, and a very short time later, you see him and his entire retinue, his closest advisors, and the entirety of the council that has gathered in their own official garb,
A whole council.
heading into the city.
Lauren,
Yes.
can I channel my inner Halberd and follow him?
You certainly, if you wish to do so. It's a fairly large group of individuals, and granted, you're fairly distinctive. Are you going as yourself, or are you attempting to disguise yourself, or are you attempting to just sneak? Explain to me how this is going.
Poorly. This is going poorly.
Well, as the thought crosses my mind, I realized, because I just saw them leaving, so I was like, I'm going to try to follow them. And then I stopped at the gate, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm me. This doesn't go well. Find out later. I will actually alter course because, yeah, that would not go well for me. I'm actually going to go spend the rest of the afternoon and find a tattoo artist because it's time for a new one.
Make an investigation check.
Done that in a while.
Nice. Modify 20.
Modify 20. It takes a little bit of time. You get you end up having to wander the districts a little bit, and sort of asking around doesn't really lead you to anything productive until you get out of the main temple itself. You are led eventually, as evening is falling, into the Eleganza. And there you can find a fairly well-lit, clean, looks like a reputable establishment with 2 individuals who are manning the desk there.
I will go up to them and say, right, I suppose you are the individuals to speak to about getting a tattoo.
Certainly are.
I assume that you are knowledgeable in working with the Dragonborn scales.
We certainly are.
Perfect. And then, Lauren, I will go over the details. Essentially, what I'm looking for is on my left arm for this one, I'm going to get a wolf's head. And on one side of it, behind it, is going to be a moon. And on the other side behind it is going to be an archway.
Okay. You're describing this and setting this, and they're nodding along. 4 hours. We can get it done tonight.
Good. Let's do it.
Okay. This is going to go ahead and cost... Let me pull this up.
What was the description again? A wolf head, a moon, and what else was on there?
It's the wolf head that they carried with them, that Cora had, and then he gave to Albert, who gave the Val.
Okay.
So we tried to describe that wolf head, and then over, behind, recessed behind that, on one side is a moon, and on the other side is going to be an archway.
Oh, an archway. Okay, that's the part I didn't hear. That's awesome.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
This is going to cost 220 gold pieces.
Okay.
He doesn't get a celebrity discount.
Does he try and lever his celebrity to get a discount?
No. Not me. Not for this.
That's
Good.
fair.
Okay.
That's really a cool thing to say.
It is getting late as they finish up their work, but it is clean and wrapped, and you know how to care for it. This is not your first rodeo. And you are free to head back to your quarters in Dragon's Heart.
Is my leather armor, has it arrived when I get back?
Yes, it has been delivered to your quarters by
So
the time
I
you return.
am actually going to, with my sword and my shield placed next to my bed, I'm going to sleep in the leather armor.
Okay. Good deal, good deal.
Yes.
That's going to be comfy.
It's a lot comfier than heavy armor.
I mean, you're right.
Alright, so Celiax,
I
while
would
you've
not.
been sequestered essentially for most of the afternoon and evening into the night, make a perception check for me for your travels back.
17.
17. Okay. Yeah, you're hearing rumors of the parade of Brotherhood who were welcomed into the city, of the archpriest who gave a rousing speech. It was quite the event, apparently, and free food and some small ciders were readily available to celebrate, brought by the Brotherhood themselves, cracked from their own stores. Shipped specifically for this sort of celebration.
Yep. I'm just staying clear of it.
Okay. You make your way back. You are wrapping things up for the night. All of y'all back in the catacombs. What were y'all doing for the course of the afternoon and evening?
I was probably starting a conversation with Sarai, Gertie, and Harker while the guys were out.
Okay. And what were you wanting to discuss?
I think after Kaestor left in a bit of a huff and Doran followed him, I probably just took a moment to center herself, sit up straight, twinge because she's still injured, and find a more comfortable position. So, I don't know when next Celiax is going to be available, so it might be beneficial for us to go ahead and start some of these conversations now. Gertie, I guess just whatever information you, Harker, and Star are willing to give us, starting with other persons of interest beside Desmond that we need to be aware of.
Very well, you do have a point. What has Solix told you of the council that rules the city? Do you know?
I'm utterly unfamiliar with pretty much everything, so.
Of course. Alright, so over the next little while, the information you get from Gertie details the council, those who rule the city, essentially. Technically, the city is ruled by a Margrave, and the Margrave has an honorary seat on the council. The Margrave technically oversees the secular ruling of the city itself. And his name is Margrave Aragar Holson. The ruling ship has been in his family for generations, but especially in the last 2 or 3 generations or so, they have become a little more than puppets of the council, and the council is what rules the city in its entirety. And they are made of representatives of the church in various positions. The archpriest, Desmond von Drakensturm, leads the council. The Wyvern Captain, the Knight Captain, representative of the clerical orders, representative of the merchants, and the what they call the Seeker, who Gertie essentially describes as controlling the flow of information into and out of the city, are the other positions. And when she's describing most of them, there is an element of contempt in her voice. She says the only one who's even mildly trustworthy is Wyvern Captain Sid Reynolds, and that's mostly because he's stationed in Cliffkeep and only very infrequently comes into the city itself.
I was just going to say, as we're going through Rise, getting descriptions from them, and very specifically what she's saying to Gertie is, and what color dragonborn is that?
Okay. Sid Reynolds is copper. Knight Captain Alric Chandler is silver. The Margrave is brass. Hold up, where's my page here?
Basically, Rise just trying to get descriptions of everybody.
Right. Okay. Seeker Caden Hudson is another brass dragonborn.
Oh gosh, can you like text this to
Oh yeah,
us?
no. I'll put this in a document and share it to all of y'all. But I think what Rye is getting at is that the only non-dragonborn on the council is the half-elf merchant representative, Alina Kramer, who
Is a half-elf on the council?
half-elf on the council.
Correct me if I'm wrong, this seems a little odd because everything here is run by Dragonborn.
Well, primarily, yes. It's beneath them to handle money, so they say. I'm too close to the hordes of the draconic foe.
And what does this half-elf look like?
Oh, middle-aged woman, dark hair, elegant to some. Strict in appearance, generally. Very commanding demeanor.
I'm going to start sketching out as best I can what Kalaran looks like.
Mhm.
Does she seem similar to this at all?
Make a this wouldn't be performance. This would be make a dexterity check.
Okay, that's not as great. I would have loved performance better. But that's a 16.
16. Okay, it's a fairly accurate representation.
Shut up, phone.
It's okay.
Every
It's okay.
time my alarm clock goes off. So sorry.
You're fine. There are some vague similarities, I suppose.
And how long has she been in power?
Oh. Not quite 30 years.
Who would you say are her closest associates?
Oh, the council, for sure. And she has her own crew who do her dirty work. And they handle the business of the charters and the taxes for the church.
Did anyone on the council disappear for 3 days, maybe to 5 days, about 4 years ago?
Now, that's odd. There was a conspicuous absence. The archpriest himself was quite absent. Nearly a week. Entirely out of the blue. There were some rumors of a failing constitution, and he had fallen ill suddenly. Nothing ever came of it. He returned shortly thereafter. Why?
Did he say anything in particular when he returned? Anything notable?
Not that I recall, I'm sure.
I'm gonna look at us and say, I do believe we found below.
And on that note, we will pause session and come back next week.
Oh, hell. Very nice. Wait, what?
I'm lost on some of these names. Oh my god, what's happening?
I'll send them to y'all. I'll send them to y'all.
I love it. I love it. Oh, good session, y'all. What?
This is perfect.
Yes.
Yay!
Oh.
Good session. Good game. Having
The
fun.
healing can begin.
On that note.
On that note, thank you for joining us for our adventure today. Thank you for coming along as we went through kind of a heavy process there.
It do be
We'll
like
get through
that.
the other side. It do be like that sometimes. Wes, you're just killing me there.
Man, what's he doing? He being crazy. Yeah, he being crazy.
He'd be crazy.
I'm
You'd be
gonna
crazy
switch,
like that, Dill.
I'm gonna switch off of that camera now.
All right, I'm safe. Oh, thank God.
So thank you. Please join us as we continue this adventure next week. Stay safe out there, stay healthy, and take care of yourself. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.